Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be reviewing 3 different Kyocera flip phones. This is the KYF37. This is the 902KC in pink. And lastly, this is the KYF42C. I have them in order here, with the white one being the later model, and then this one is the earlier model. So starting with what's similar between all these flip phones here, so all 3 have a built-in cursor, so you don't have to install third-party apps for that. They all have 8 megapixel camera, 3.4 inches screen, and you also get 1 gig RAM and 8 gig ROM. So just to show you the KYF37 and then to showcase the cursor, so you have this little cursor thing that you control using the D-pad. So you just press the up, down, left, and right button to control it, and so it's very easy to use. It just comes on automatically, you don't have to turn it on. And this is what it looks like. So as previously mentioned, they have 8 megapixel camera. So this one has the camera at the back, and then you also get LED flash, the speakers, and the infrared, although I don't know if infrared is still being used in 2024. And then for the Kyocera 902KC, you get the camera, a flash, and then also infrared. No speakers here at the back, unlike the other one. And then lastly, the KYF42C, unlike the first 2, this one only has the camera at the back. No speakers here, no flash, no infrared. Aside from that, all 3 of these phones support 2G up to 4G, although you still have to check if your carrier bands are supported, so you might want to Google the model and then the supported bands just to make sure that it's going to work for you. Even if all 3 of these phones only have 8 gig ROM, you can actually expand the storage up to 32 gigabytes using a micro SD card. Just make sure you format that to FAT32. Sorry, there's like a lot of rooster sounds. I'm recording this in the morning and it's driving me nuts. By the way, these phones have support for nano SIM cards, so you shouldn't have any problems if you're using a nano SIM card. And I know they're very similar, even if they are different models. They're from the same brand. The software is similar. The home apps, the pre-installed apps, the home launchers, they look kind of the same with maybe a little bit of a difference. But let me at least show you each one so you can have a better look. So this one has a sub-display. It shows you the time. You can also toggle it to show you the connectivity options, the battery level, and you can change the view by pressing the camera button here. When it comes to the physical dimensions, they're identical. This one, for example, the 902KC, about the same size. Well, actually exactly the same size with maybe some minor difference. They're kind of narrow, they're rounded, unlike the Sharp phones, which tend to have a boxy look. The Kyocera ones have rounded corners usually. So opening them, this is how it looks like inside. So the buttons are, of course, it's not going to be that much different. It's a T9 style keypad. And it's going to be the same pretty much for all flip phones. Here's a short showcase of the phone. So once again, KYF37. So here's the back side, the sides, and then the front. And if you open it, by the way, it doesn't have the click to open button, unlike the older Sharp models. So you have to close it and open it manually. Usually the middle key or the key within the D-pad is your select button. So in this one, this is pretty much the app drawer. There's really not a lot of things you can do here. You can change the view to list view, but you cannot edit what's on the screen. So you cannot change the apps here. These are the options that you get under settings, and you'll find that it's similar across all other Japanese flip phones, whether it's from Sharp, Kyocera, or Panasonic, or other brands. They might look a little bit different or have different orders, but it's about the same. You get some pre-installed apps like calculator, calendar, browser. There are also apps that are limited to Japan, like for example the TV or the mail app, but you can't really use it outside Japan. Anyway, moving on to the next one, which is the Kyocera 902KC. This one has Android 8.1, unlike the first one, which is Android 5.1. This one would have better app support just because it has a later version of Android, but that doesn't mean the older one would not be able to install apps or anything like that. It's just that this has, I guess, more or like longer lifespan when it comes to app support. So anyway, this is the front screen. So you also get the sub display that's kind of like built into the screen, so you don't really see it there unless you have it on. So just like the first one, it can show you the time, dates, battery level, and you can toggle using the camera button here. Also, by the way, I know it kind of looks narrow on camera. It actually is kind of narrow in real life. It may look a bit smaller than it actually is because I have bigger hands, but it's not that small, but it's also not that big. So I guess in between. And then this is the keypad. You get the square D-pad, unlike the first one, which has circle D-pad, which I like that better. It's just preference. This one also has really cool backlighting. It only lights up the actual letters and numbers. And then this one lights up the entire key. The stock launcher is not that different from the first one. You get your home screen and then your app drawer. But this one, you can actually change the apps that are shown on the screen. So for example, I have set some to show, or I have replaced some of the apps with the apps that I actually use, like Aurora Store. I have the timer via browser. I have Webtoon. So you can edit, and then you can just click on the tile or the app. You can delete it. And then you can add a new one that you can actually use. Let me also quickly show you the settings. So it has the same options. You get wallpaper settings and all that. And so it's similar unless you're using a third-party launcher. So I mentioned earlier this one has the speakers at the back, which I really don't like because when you're listening to music and you have the phone down, it tends to sound muffled, or like when you're holding the phone, it gets muffled. On this one though, you don't get the speakers at the back. I think for the speakers, it's using this one and this one. To be honest, the speakers don't really sound good, even if the speakers are not located at the back, so it doesn't really matter. You can just use your Bluetooth headphones or Bluetooth speakers, and that should be good enough. And lastly, we have the KYF42C. First off, this has the same keypad as the 902KC, so they look the same. Although for some reason I do like typing on the KYF42C more, just because it feels better. And then you also get the same sub-display. This one has a black band around the front cover, which I think is super stylish. It's cool. And then you get this camera button here. You can click that to change the view options. At the back, you only get the camera. For some reason, they removed the flash. I don't know what they were thinking. But no flash, no infrared, nothing in there but the camera. So this is what it looks like inside. So you get this like white keypad and then black border or black bezel at the top. I know I'm repeating myself, but the home screen, the app drawer, it's similar. You get some pre-installed apps. You get your email, calendar, contacts, phone, voice recorder. So it's the same for all three. And I keep saying it's the same, but it really is the same unless you're using a what do you call this? A third-party launcher. Let me actually show you one. I happen to have Microsoft Launcher here. So just to show you what it looks like if you're using Microsoft Launcher. Okay, so it's kind of hard to see because of my wallpaper. So let me quickly change the wallpaper. Right, so opening the app. You can go here under data folder and then you can change the wallpaper. I'm using a custom icon pack, so the icons are white, so it's kind of hard to see. So I'm choosing something kind of darkish in color, like this one. Okay, so now you can see it better. I have the apps that I use the most here. And then here's the app drawer. Unlike the other one, which only shows you like 9 different apps, this one shows you all of the apps that you have, including your settings and stuff. And so depending on your preference, you might like this better because it shows you the apps without you having to go under tools or whatever shortcuts just to get to the apps that you downloaded. It's also worth noting that even if these phones have 1 gig RAM only, and technically on paper they should perform about the same, they should have the same speed. For some reason, maybe it's because the later model handles memory better, this one just feels snappier. Like this feels faster. I don't know if you can see it on camera. Even scrolling feels faster as compared to this one, for example. It's kind of hard to tell, but there's a little bit of a delay. Not really that much of a difference, and not that much for you to be worried about it or for it to be a deal breaker, but I just thought I'd put it out there. I've also been getting a lot of questions whether or not this phone would work in their country, with their carrier whatsoever. Once again, you have to check the bands that are supported for each model, and you have to check if your carrier bands are supported. So it's very easy. You just Google the model of the phone. So for example, you type like KYF37 bands and it should show you. And then aside from that, KYF37 has micro USB, and then the other two have the Type-C charging port. I also think it's super cool that these phones from Japan. They're actually most of the models that I've heard of. They're water resistant, dust proof, and also shock proof. And I think sharp phones are as well, as far as I know. And so that's always a good thing. I'm not going to test if it's shockproof or not. I'm not going to try to drop my phone or anything. But that's always good to know, right? I really hope that this video has been helpful for you if you're, just in case you're in the lookout for your first flip phone. If you want to just, get a flip phone, if you don't know which one to get. I hope this at least answered some of your questions. And of course, if you have other questions, just let me know in the comments down below, and I'll try to answer you, or I'll try to send you a message if I can. And yeah, this is it for today's video. Again, thank you so much. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.